How's it going, everybody? This is Alex Caceres, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
Will, what is up?
What up, what up?
Welcome, everybody, to Story of the Fight. My name is Ramiro. That's my boy, Will. This is the podcast where we talk all things mixed martial arts. Hey, how was your Thanksgiving, Will?
It was good, dude. Fighting cat allergies. We got to see my mom, grandma, all that stuff. That was last
Fighting
weekend.
cat allergies.
Right? We
So
skipped
you
that.
still had a fight going on even after the weekend there was no fights. You're fighting allergies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Watch Kai Wu, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So it's PFL. But now this weekend, I don't know if you can hear it, but it's not cat allergies this weekend. Now I'm actually sick. So back-to-back weekends. Been a little rough for your boy.
Oh, man. Well, hey, I'm glad you had a good Thanksgiving, though. I hope everybody out there had a great Thanksgiving. We took the weekend off, a little holiday, for us. So, yeah, a little hiatus. But
hiatus.
we had some UFC going on again this weekend, right?
Mhm.
Before we get going there, though, almost forgot. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you don't already follow us, it goes a long way. Let your friends, families, your aunties, your uncles, your mamas, your grandpapas, let everybody know that likes mixed martial arts to tune in to the podcast. And if they're looking for our podcast, well, where can they find it?
Yeah, it's storythefight.com. You'll see it everywhere. It's Story of the Fight on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, Spotify, Apple Podcast, at Twitch, everything, YouTube. Story of the Fight.
And neither of us are wearing our merch today, but there's also merch available at storyofthefight.com. T-shirts, beanies.
Speaking of merch, shout out Gans Cow in the comments already. Got a shirt recently.
I love it. Looked fantastic too. That picture looked hard.
I know, right? I'm like, what this shit?
Yeah, dude, it was serious. But hey, appreciate the support. Any way the support may come, right? Whether it's just subscribing, letting friend know, anything. We really appreciate it. But now this fight night was not at the Apex. This fight night was in Austin.
Yeah.
So it seems to be that whenever they have a fight night outside of the Apex, they tend to stack the card a little bit more, make it a little more fun, you know?
It's almost like they have to sell tickets.
Crazy.
I mean, if you compare the next Apex card to what we just had, just on paper, like matchup wise, it's like, oh yeah, they had to justify the insane ticket prices they have now. So yeah, they got to stack it, and they did, and I'm thankful because
what a night.
Very good.
What a night. You want to go and get started?
Yeah, might as well. Let's do it.
All right, let's get going with the main event. We had Arman Tsarukyan versus Beneil Dariush. Going into this, how did you have it, Will?
I thought Arman was going to steamroll my boy Beneil. I like Beneil. I think he's cool. He's kind of weird. He's a little different. I like that about him. Doesn't talk a lot of shit. He's very respectful. He's got a fun style. A lot of come from behind victories. A lot of finishes.
Been on a little bit of a roll lately.
Oh, yeah, definitely, dude. Yeah,
so
big role. He got stopped by Charles Oliveira, but that was the end to his role. But before that, he was like on a tear through the division.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, Arman is different. I hate the saying there's levels, right? But Arman is people like, you're only as good as your last performance to a lot of people. And he had that last fight against was it Joaquim Silva? Was that who it was? Yeah, Joaquim Silva. And he didn't steamroll him, and everyone was like, "Ooh, maybe he's not as good as we all thought he was." It's like, it's a tough matchup. It's tricky. He's that good. Arman is very talented. So I thought he was going to steamroll him. What did you think going into it?
Going into it, I had Arman Tsarukyan. I didn't think he was going to steamroll him. I thought it was going to go to a decision with Arman beating him out. But, your boy, Beneil Dariush, with the white hair, looking a lot older in that octagon.
Always had that. No, he even said in the lead up, someone was like, "Yeah, a lot of people think you're slowing down. You're almost out of there." And he was like, "I've been getting gray hair since I was 15. I'm used to this. I've heard it all before."
No, but your boy looks snowy and flaky while he was getting checked out. They're putting the Vaseline on his head. Yeah, dude, looked like he had a bunch of white flakes all over his hair. And so they're rubbing the Vaseline on his face. And I thought to myself, man, did he just get 5 years older over the last year? Jeez. But look, Beneil, what was he ranked going into this? Ranked number 4 going into this. Arman Tsarukyan ranked number 8, but Arman Tsarukyan is the next generation, right? And I think this is his time for his title run right now.
Oh, yeah.
Beneil's been there, done that. He's already had his opportunity. He's around the end of his career. So I figured that Arman was going to have the tool set needed to be able to beat Beneil. I just didn't think it was going to be fashion in which he did beat him. By the way,
Yeah.
the amount of power he was able to generate, right? Because he goes up for that knee. And before the knee even comes back down, he throws that right that lands right on the chin.
Yeah.
Oh, nasty.
Yeah. Ganskow says, I called Benny old, but he's a year younger than me.
Yes. How old is
Yeah.
he?
He's 34, which,
Oh, well, he's a lot younger than me, so.
yeah, but that being said, that is the age in MMA, especially in like, I think it's middleweight and below. 35 is like, that's where it starts to really fall off a cliff for a lot of fighters.
Like
so
you
he's
said, in this
right
weight
there.
class for sure, right?
Yeah, at the lower weight classes, it's a young
Yeah.
man's game, 100%.
Heavyweight, you're hitting your prime.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, definitely. Heavyweights are out there 40 years old getting winning titles. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But like you said, going in this fight, Arman is just he's so mechanically sound and so proficient. And yeah, HB Comer, shout out HB Comer says that means you were both old.
Hey, shout out HB Comer. Thank you. Yes, I am.
Yeah. But it was really cool. The setup, Arman, so he jabs in, throws the overhand, I think it was, almost like a casting punch, a lot similar to how Islam does it, how Fedor used to do it. Throws it over, ends up in the collar tie, pulls his head down, throws the knee. Beneil is moving away from the knee. You can only move so much, right? You're going to move away from it. Now, you can't move further that way, right? So like you said, as he's putting the knee down, he follows up with another right hand and catches him as he can't roll with it because he already slipped the knee. And it just drops him. And then the follow-up shots were nasty, man. He follows him down.
I think he hit him with one follow-up shot, I think.
Yeah, it was one or two, but even if it was just one, it was a doozy.
Yeah. Who was the ref here? I think it was Mark Smith, was it?
I think so, yeah.
I think he did an excellent job. Mark Smith had a fantastic night. He had a really good night. Well, yeah, we can cover
some
that.
Of the other ones, huh?
Yeah, we'll be covering that a little bit later. But yes,
I think
the other person.
There's a picture of the follow-up shot that was pretty gnarly.
The other person I've seen do that a lot is Nate Diaz, right? A lot of times he lifts his leg when he's actually trying to check a kick, and before his leg comes down, he throws like a quick 1-2. But there's just not that much power behind it. With Tsarukyan, man, like you just saw Beneil's jaw kind of like realign.
Oh yeah,
after it was right on the money. And
Strickland did that really well against Izzy. His last
he did that too.
Performance.
But if you're Beneil, you're probably thinking
here's a casting punch. Right. Yeah. So you punch past him. I don't think he did it on purpose, but you can use it in the moment. Beneil's covered up. He throws the casting punch. It's a perfect time to collar tie and throw that knee because that rear leg is ready. That rear leg is ready to explode up. It was just fantastic sequence from Arman, and that's the stuff like that. He's so mechanically sound that he can, on the fly in those weird exchanges, he can do things like that. It's like so like. You do something like that, it's like it's slow motion. It's like it must be slow motion to them to be able to do that in that speed, in the moment.
And for those not watching on YouTube or Spotify, highly recommend you do because we actually share pictures, right? So you can kind of see what we're talking about as we're going through and explaining it. And if you're Beneil, you're probably thinking, okay, he just missed with the knee, like missed with it. He's probably going to reset.
Mm-hmm.
And then
so I'll reset.
Yeah, it's all reset. He got reset he got shut off actually.
Yeah, he got
a little different of a reset. But hey, phenomenal performance by Tsarukyan. If he jumps, he should be jumping Fiziev, Gamrot, Chandler, and
see now,
in this case.
We're looking at the rankings.
Top 4?
Yeah, if you're Arman. The tricky thing is we're getting to a little bit of a log jam now because so Islam was supposed to fight DeBronx. DeBronx had to pull out because of the cut, so he fights Volkanovski instead. And then so do you remake it? Here's the follow-up shot. Look at Tony Hinchcliffe back there. Screaming like he just witnessed a
right next to Tom Segura.
Yeah.
Love it.
But so, do you rebook Oliveira because he had the title shot and then he had to pull out. So he didn't like lose a fight, right? But then now Gaethje just won the BMF belt. He knocked out Poirier, who is number 3. So he kind of deserves a title shot. I think if you knock out Poirier with the head kick, deserve a title shot. And then Gamrot was the backup for Oliveira, and they skipped him for the title shot. So there's 3 people who like have an argument for a title shot, and now Arman just knocked out number 4 in the first round in like a minute. So it's like, and not only that, it's almost Ramadan. So Islam's got like 1 fight left that like before he wants to fight before Ramadan. I don't know if it's going to happen. You get maybe a fight at the end of the year with him again.
And then Dustin, there was something he posted where it was like title shot or I retire or something like that, right?
I don't take too much faith into what he says on Twitter, though.
Yeah.
He likes to stir the pot.
But I'm thinking, give me Poirier versus Tsarukyan.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's what you do. And he also said,
right?
He's also said, I only want to take fights that scare me.
That's a scary dude right there.
That's how he turned down the Dariush fight. It was like he doesn't scare me. I only want to take fights that scare me. Arman goes out and starches him.
That music he walked out to, it sounded like
terrifying, dude.
Oh yes, about to go to war. You know, I was like, oh my god. And he went out there like he did, dude. It was fantastic. So I was super impressed by Tsarukyan. Beneil Dariush, tough go on this one. And I think there is no more title run at this point for Beneil.
I agree. And it's unfortunate because it would have been cool to see him get a shot, but he got to a contender fight. So that's a lot more than most people.
Good career for Beneil. I'm not talking about him like he already retired. I'm pushing him into retirement.
Put him out to pasture.
I know, dude. Jeez, what am I doing?
Great
job, Beneil. All right, man. Do you want to go on to the co-main event?
Yeah, we're only skipping 1 fight for this entire card, so
this card was
we might breeze through some of them.
So we had Turner versus Green in this one, man. Jalin Turner taking this fight on short notice. Going into
9
this,
days.
I was a little concerned because they were interviewing Turner, and he was like, "Man, I didn't really want this fight," And then they're like, "So was it one of those things where it was like, you have to take it?" And he's like, "Pretty much."
He turned it down. They called him because Bobby Green was supposed to fight Dan Hooker for the co-main event. It would have been a fucking banger. Hooker re-damaged his arm, the one that broke from Jalin Turner, from the high kick that Jalin Turner threw.
Came back full circle.
So then he takes his opportunity for a co-main spot, despite losing that fight. Takes it on 9 days' notice. He said he declined. He didn't want it. He wasn't ready. Said no. And then they were like, "So what did they offer you, like insane money?" He was like, "Yeah, I don't know, something like that, I guess." And then they were like, "Was the second fight or was the second call pretty much you have to take this?" And he was like, "Yeah, pretty much." And he was like, "I didn't want to take this." He notoriously has a very hard time cutting to 155. He's 6'3". I'm 6'3". I'm not in bad shape, but I'm 210.
Yeah.
And I'm lanky too, kind of. I'm not as lanky as him, but I cannot imagine what it takes to cut to 155. So on 9 days' notice, there's no camp. That's all weight cut. Some of the reporters were trashing him too for being like a little like irritable during those interviews and stuff. And it's like, fuck you guys. You guys get to go home and eat In-N-Out, and like meanwhile, this dude's starving himself for 9 days to go to war
against Bobby Green. Who's game?
Very game.
And so Bobby
look at
Green,
this picture. Very game.
Bobby Green, we all know he's going to come out hands down. He shoots from the hips. He's really quick. He has great head movement, which is what allows him to come in with that defense.
Yeah,
right.
This darting punch he throws, so sick.
Yeah, it's money. It's money.
Yeah.
But going into this, look, I had Bobby Green going into this, but going into this, I thought that Green was going to have a tough matchup. It's not a very good matchup for him. And as he's going in with that defense, that length, right? He's going in with that defense, hands low. He relies so much on just getting missed by punches.
Yeah.
Just missing, right? Where he can come back and counter. So in the beginning, he's going, and then Jalin throws this right jab. He throws this right jab, and then Bobby Green, he comes in, and he just, 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 he just at the exact same time that Bobby is leaning out of it, dipping out, and throws that big right, and he lands right on Turner. And I was like, okay, so maybe he
Yeah,
found
that
a
was
way that he can
nice.
close the distance.
But then Turner made that read. Turner
Yes.
also saw that.
Ah, man. And as Bobby dips away, that long, lanky arm continues going all the way down
Yeah.
and meets Bobby's Green's temple, if I remember correctly. Look at that shot right there.
Yeah,
And
well, this is like, you know, like you said, Bobby's best matchups are like power throwers, guys who are like swingers, like guys like Michael Chandler. He lost the fight to Dober, but he was piecing him up before that. Like those types of guys who swing super hard and they're head hunting and stuff like that. The way you beat somebody like this is you be a sniper and you be, you know, you be long, you fight them long like Jalen Turner can't because like what do you most fighters like there's like, oh, if I'm fighting this style, this is the first thing I want to try to do. And usually someone who's real slippy with their head movement, it's go to the body, right? Because the body doesn't move the same way the head does. You're not going to miss nearly as much. The other thing you can do is just bang them with kicks because as they're moving their head, you can just throw body kicks, throw high kicks, and they're not going to necessarily slip them. It's just going to bang them and rattle them, and it's like maybe that'll slow down the movement. There was a little bit of that from Turner, right? He was throwing the high kick, throwing the body kicks, but the big thing was he just made the read, dude. This guy is surgical with his striking. He's had issues with his grappling, right, with like Gamrot and stuff like that, but like you said, he throws the jab, Bobby slips away, he double jabs, and Bobby slips against around the punch, and then throws the hook, the same side hook over the jab, and that's how he caught him. Right, he slips back, he slips again to the outside, and then as he slips to the outside, he can almost use that slip to pull the left hook over. But then Turner, like you said, he made the read, dude, because he got caught with that once and was like, cool, that's what he's doing. And Bobby just he was too repetitive with his slips.
Mm.
It was always away to the
Yeah.
outside, throw the left hook, away to the outside, throw the left hook. And like you said, the second time he just punches him right on the slip, right? Like he slipped into the second punch, the follow up, and then it rattles him. He's wobbly. He steps away, and then bam, 1-2 again. He punches him where he slipped, and then it's just the worst possible thing. Because like I picked Turner, but I was hoping Bobby because I love Bobby. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people, he gets unwarranted hate in my opinion. A lot of times, guys like him who are kind of confrontational, people are like, I don't like him, blah blah blah. He has a lot of hate, but I love him. And watching him take 30 unanswered shots and have to get knocked out twice is just horrible.
What an embarrassment for the sport,
It's
right?
bad.
To have that happen. So after he gets dropped, he falls face down. He kind of tries to protect the side of his head with his hands, right? But Jalin,
Yeah.
mounts him on while he's on his back, starts
Would you
raining
call
down
it when he
shots.
fell? When he first fell?
I would
I
call it
think
after he took the first shot after he first fell.
I think the way he fell, he didn't try to brace his fall or anything. I think the way he fell, yeah, you're like one shot. I'm calling this. I think exactly the same thing.
Yeah, just one shot, it's done. And to see Bobby Green trying to defend, he gets hit, hands go down, he gets hit again, hands go back up because he came back too, and then he takes another shot where his eyes are closed, his head's just on the side, he's laying sideways, and he still eats 2-3 more shots while he's
And then
completely
turns to his
defenseless.
belly. And then turns to his belly, has his hands just like this as he's getting swung around with punches. And then he goes out again, out cold. It should never be. Daniel Cormier yelled, "He's out again." That should never happen. Commentators should never have to yell, "He's out again."
And look at where, so the ref is Kerry Hatley, right?
Look
And
at
Ganstel
DC in
said
this
Bobby Green
picture.
should get one free round with Kerry Hatley.
Yes.
He absolutely should. He absolutely should, yeah. And look at where he is. He's right on top of the action. What are you
Yeah.
doing?
What else do
are
you
you
need to
doing?
see? Look at Bobby's legs.
Look at his left arm.
Yeah. That's not someone who's fighting back or intelligently defending himself. Look at DC. DC
Oh,
was
man.
DC called him out in the interview, the post-fight interview. He was
Yeah.
like, "What do you think about that stoppage? Like, what the hell was that?" And look, Kerry Hatley, normally, I honestly, I don't know if there's any other ref that, can you think of one other Kerry Hatley controversy? To his credit, I don't think I can think of one other time he's been on the spotlight.
And, but quite honestly, like, I don't see him that often. He's not
Dude,
there every single weekend, is he?
He's pretty good, dude. He gets around, yeah. HB Comer says that ref always makes terrible decisions and it will happen again. Well, that's how I eat my words. I don't remember any, but apparently he always has a bunch.
Look, all I know is that when something like this happens, where's the accountability, right? Like, this guy should be suspended. This guy he needs to be held accountable somehow.
No, he's terrible. Yeah, he should for sure be suspended. For sure suspension. I don't know what they do behind the scenes. The athletic commissions are notorious for not holding themselves accountable. I would like to see some other ones from him because I honestly can't think of any time he's been in the spotlight. I'd like to see like some other ones because I don't think he's like, he's not Mazzagatti. He's not, Yamasaki. He's not Tayoni. I think he was the one that was reffing that Zombie Girl versus Valentina fight. Was that the bar one? Which was Zombie Girl?
I'm not too sure exactly which one that
I'm not sure,
is,
but the track record, he's not. I don't think most people probably don't even know his name. You know what I mean? Whereas there's some refs that people know their name because of how bad they are. That's what I'm trying to say. But this is still inexcusable. Dana didn't blast him. Dana was like, he knows he fucked up bad. Sometimes you get refs who defend it. I let them be a warrior, but he knew he was pretty bad. But I don't know. I hope there is some kind of accountability. It doesn't seem like there is usually, but I don't know. Maybe they just don't talk about it because they really don't like to admit when they make mistakes, the athletic commission. So maybe they just do it behind the scenes, but it doesn't seem like it.
No, I don't think they're going to do anything. I really don't. And it's that's just how it goes with this with any athletic state commission. I feel like I know we like
any
to rag a lot on
you can take sports out of it.
Yeah, we like to rag a lot on the Nevada State Athletic Commission, but really, they're not the only ones that they have things like this pop up.
Yeah, New York's got to be the worst.
It's got to be, right?
California, you know what? Pretty damn good. California's pretty good.
And so, I know that recently we've also been like, man, that was an early stoppage. I quite honestly, I'd rather see an early stoppage than what we saw last night.
Yeah, and the question is now Hatley, is he going to be quicker to pull the trigger going forward because he doesn't want this to happen? Like these types of things can like mess with you. If he truly did, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and think that he probably, if Dana said that he knew he fucked up, we've all seen Dana go after refs. He has no allegiance to the athletic commission, especially now. He's bigger than them. But
I think he just needs to go in there and remind himself, like the first time somebody gets knocked out, I need to stop it.
Yeah.
And he'll be fine.
But he's a human, right? So like if he is internalizing this and he's like, fuck, I fucked that up so bad. I feel so bad. Bobby took so much damage. Like Ganskow said, this fight could mess up Bobby Green going further. He might be done at this age. Like this is career altering potentially. If he's internalizing all that, how do you go in and ref and just, he's a human. How do you just wipe that out of your brain? If I fucked
and somebody
up that
also
bad,
hold Bobby Green back. Like when he stood back up to go say, like, or to congratulate Jalen Durner, and he's still like wobbling over there. It's like somebody tell him, dude, take a seat.
Yeah,
he'll be able to congratulate him after.
And to that point, it's a different topic, but because of the same thing. But people hate on Bobby a lot because of his antics and his bravado, and he talks a lot of shit, stuff like that. First off, Turner said the first few minutes when he started talking shit, it completely like frazzled him, and he was like, "Oh shit." And then he had to hear his coaches, and his coaches brought him back in. He got focused again. But for a bit, he was like, I don't know what to do about this. So it works. Secondly, watch the Dober fight. Watch this fight. Watch him post-fight after getting knocked out. And look how fucking cool he is with the guys who just knocked him out. He goes over to Turner. He's like, what'd you get me with? And he's like happy. He's like not happy, but like he's like, it's not like it's just bravado. Some people need that to fight, and you look at someone. I think what someone does in a loss, post-fight, especially knockout loss, that says more about people's character more so than probably pretty much anything else you see from them, because a lot of it's promotion, a lot of it's selling an image, because you have to have an image these days. But who people are after a fight, especially after knockouts when they lose, that says more about someone's character. And I think that's what I see in Bobby Green, and it sucks that a lot of people don't see that, and they like to take the image and hate on that. But maybe that comes in. That's part of it
with the territory. It comes with the territory. When you're going to be acting that way and trying to sell fights that way, yeah, for sure, it comes with the territory. You sign up for it, right? So
100%.
Oh man. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we can all agree Carrie Hadley did a shitty job.
Also, please stop. People are giving them death threats and shit on Instagram. That's not cool.
I don't think he should get death threats, but I agree with Hanscow. Let him go in there with Bobby Green, one round, which is pretty much as good as a death threat, honestly.
Yeah. It's got to be a shitty feeling to be a fighter outside of taking the actual damage of a bad stoppage, but like to hear everything about your fight is man, the ref let him take too much. Like that's gotta suck, dude. Like
if you're Bobby Green, you're saying.
Yeah. It's gotta suck when that's the story. The story of the fight is how much unnecessary damage you took. God, that's gotta be bad. That's gotta suck.
You think that sucks more than his headaches that he's probably gonna have for the next month? Jeez, dude.
For the rest of his
insane.
life. Yeah.
All
Worst stoppage since Aldo versus Jan? I think probably, right? It's been a while since we had a very late stoppage.
Not if you ask Dom.
Dominic Cruz was like, great reffing. Bobby could have come back.
Get me Carrie Hadley in my next fight.
Yeah.
All right. We can move on.
At all.
We'll move on to the next fight. Deiveson Figueiredo versus Rob Font. This one, man. So the fight's getting started. And in my head, I'm just thinking, man, every once in a while we see these fighters and we're like, man, this fighter's a tweener, right? Like too big for the previous division, too small for the next division. And seeing Figueiredo stand next to Rob Font, I thought to myself, he might be one of those tweeners that has a hard time at bantamweight. And then,
for context, this is his first fight outside of flyweight. He went up a weight division for this fight.
Which everybody would say he had the worst time cutting weight.
Yeah.
Getting down, right, to flyweight. So, and I thought he looked a little small. Still ripped.
Yeah.
Still ripped, but I thought he looked a little small.
Weighed in with his sweatpants on, by the way.
There you go. But then he lands that first jab on Rob Font, and it stops Rob in his tracks.
Yeah, it changed the whole fight.
Stops him in his tracks. And I said, oh, my Lord, this power carried over.
Yeah, it translates.
Oh, my Lord.
I think the matchmaking in this was very, very good because, Figueiredo's a former champion and, former champion of the weight class below. He goes up. He didn't get an immediate title shot. Obviously, that's not the right move. But, he's coming in. Rob Font's number 8. Rob Font has been I don't know if he's been in the top 5. He's definitely been close. I think he probably was at one point, I think.
Rob Font?
But, yeah, I think he was top 5 at one point, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you look at the way Rob Font fights and, you look at the Chito Vera fight, you look at the Jose Aldo fight, he's so good with volume. But really, anytime he gets hit with a good shot, he really wears it. Not just visibly on his face, but he's not very stable in his stance and
his body language shows it.
He shows it, yeah. So it's this is a good entry point for Figueiredo. If the power translates, he'll have success against someone like Rob Font probably. I thought it was just a very good matchup, and if he's too small, then we'll know. Because if he doesn't hurt Rob Font with a punch, then he's not hurting anybody in this division, basically.
Yeah.
Right? And like you said, that first punch changed the whole fight right away because you saw, Rob Font. He's a 1-2 merchant. That's what he does, right? He's a 1-2 guy. Same with the Calvin Cater, that New England cartel, those straight punches. He's so good at it. But then, he was losing the boxing matchup to Adrian Yanez initially in that fight. And how he got the finish was, he switched like a hockey style where, if you're getting outboxed in boxing, tough shit. It's going to be a long night. In MMA, you can take him down or you can single collar tie and you can rough him up in the clinch like hockey fighting, right? That's what he did to Yanez. He was losing the actual boxing, ends up grabbing him behind the head and just right hand, and just destroyed him, right? And it seemed like once Figueiredo landed on him good, he was like, I'm going to do that. Mm-hmm. and he kept reaching and he was following him and he wasn't getting behind the 1-2 like he normally does. And every time he would do that, he would get clipped on the inside. You know, that uppercut from Figueiredo was so good the whole fight. He started adjusting a little bit, landed good elbows in the clinch. Font did. But for the most part, he was just reaching and following, and he just never really implemented, like, I think that first shot was like, he was like, oh shit, this dude hits
Yeah.
hard. And it
Yeah.
changed
Shout out
everything.
Regen. Says, I'm late, but I made it. Welcome, Regen.
Hey, shout out Regen. And
I
HLB
hope you had a
Comer
good
says this
Thanksgiving
went,
too.
yeah. HLB Comer says this went pretty much like the Vera fight. Font struggles with power. Yeah.
He
And
does.
yeah,
That's a good
and
call.
even outside of the Vera fight, you know, like the Vera fight, Font was piecing him up, then he gets caught. Piecing him up, then he gets caught. He didn't really piece up Figueiredo too much this fight. You know, Figueiredo came out of this pretty good.
The other thing that Figueiredo did a really good job of since the very beginning, he was mixing in the level change, right? And he threatened with the level change often. And Rob Font knows he's a striker, he's a boxer. Figueiredo can grapple, so it just kept him thinking about that very early in the fight. He started doing that, which was very smart on Figueiredo's part.
And to Font's credit, when he would get taken down, right back up, which was, you know, when he just lost to Sandhagen, he just got controlled. He couldn't get up off his back. So that was kind of cool to see that he developed that a little bit, a better bottom game. But yeah, like you said, sorry, I didn't want to cut you off, but I just want to give him credit for that.
No, I wonder how much of that's Figueiredo thinking like, yo, I'm going to beat you standing, but I want to show you I could take you down.
And how much of it is, you know, this is not a large bantamweight on top of me. If you're Font, it's a guy coming up from flyweight. I can get up a little bit easier.
He stands up and he's just wearing them. Now, that third round, Figgy wobbles Font.
Yeah, he does.
And then Font goes up against the fence, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, go to the body, Figgy. Go to the body. And Figgy cocks back the right hand. And he's like, what? Like just threatening him with it. And he finally throws it, and Font just ducked under it. And I was like, bro, go to the body, please.
Yeah, Font's head move was good. Yeah, he probably could have. That's to Font's credit. Again, another thing to his credit. Like the Vera fight, the Aldo fight, this fight, he gets wobbled a lot, but his recovery is very good. Very good recovery. He'll get initially hurt.
Give him a chance to recover, and you're just going,
yeah. Well, because his head movement is so good. Like you said, he should have went to the body. There was one nice body shot that Figgy landed. I think there's a picture of it in here, maybe, but with the right hand, it wasn't like a liver shot or anything. But I would have liked to see more body work. But here's Font reaching for that clinch. You know, like he was doing that a lot.
Yeah,
I think that power shook him early, dude.
Had to.
Yeah,
probably wasn't expecting it. All right. Well, fantastic performance by Figueiredo. He's probably going to be moving into that number 8 spot at bantamweight. And now the question is, who's next?
What do you do?
Let me read off who shot. Right. So you have Song Yadong,
who's fighting next week, right?
Yep. Chito Marlon Vera, who's fighting for the title. Piotr Jan.
Ooh, Jan versus Figueiredo is a banger, dude.
Oh, dude, I'm getting all excited just thinking about it.
Yeah, that's a good fight.
Corey Sandhagen. You have Triple C, Rob Valishvili. Best autograph in the game, by the way.
And
Aljamain Sterling. It looks like a first grader wrote it.
Yeah, so Aljo's done. He's going up to featherweight. Marab probably wants one fight for the a contender fight, right? Maybe Cejudo. I don't know. Sandhagen is booked against Umar, I think. Is it Umar or Saeed?
I can't remember.
Sandhagen's booked for. He's one of the Nurmagomedovs. You know, if you go down the line, there's no way they're giving him Cejudo. They train together, and it's way too high of a jump, and Cejudo's not taking fights like that. Marab, I don't think he's going to fight that far down. Sandhagen's booked. Piotr Jan's not. Cheeto's booked. Song Yadong's fighting tomorrow or next weekend.
Next weekend, yeah.
So it's Piotr Jan's the only person who's available, in my opinion. Maybe depending on what Song Yadong does, maybe they do that, but I doubt it. But that Piotr Jan fight is fucking sick.
What if you just toss it? Like, if he doesn't fight Piotr Jan, what if you do just toss him up against a Marab?
Yeah, but I don't think Marab's doing that. I don't think Marab's.
You think he's waiting it out?
I don't know what the hell he's doing.
You're fighting a former champion of your Marab. Granted, it was at flyweight, right? But if they throw that out there and say, "Hey, former champion, dude," like it's not just some scrub off the street, you know. He's Dios de Guerra, the god of war, bro.
Yeah.
So why not toss him
Yeah,
in there?
but I think aren't they trying to book Cejudo versus Merab?
Oh, that'd be a banger too.
I
That'd be a
think
lot
they're
of fun.
trying to book that.
Oh yeah,
Which
HLB Comer says Merab is fighting Henry next.
yeah, that's what I thought. So which makes sense,
Regen,
right?
any
Because
fight in the top 5 is a banger for Figgy. Absolutely.
yeah, it's got to be either Piotr Jan. Yeah, I mean, and if Song Yadong wins next weekend, then he's got to fight up. So I don't think they do that. But
Yeah.
man, what
Man,
a
it just how it worked
what a
out for
division.
Cheeto Vera, huh? With
Yeah, dude.
with Sean O'Malley getting the title and then having that
Yeah,
history, it just worked out perfectly for him.
yeah. Because what was Cheeto's last fight?
Uh,
Pedro Munoz. He's getting a title shot off of Pedro Munoz. No disrespect, but come on.
yeah, I mean, good for him though. Good for him. All
Pedro
right,
Munoz, ranked 10, by the way. Getting a title
he
shot off
is.
of that. Which, don't get me wrong, it's a fun fight. I'm excited for it.
You ready for the next fight?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go. We had Sean Brady versus Kelvin Gastelum. Kelvin Gastelum fighting again at welterweight. This is the division for him, man. He needs to be fighting at welterweight.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, he's middleweight, no bueno. This is
Yeah,
actually the
true.
best shape I've seen him in a while.
Yeah, I mean, he got back down to 170. He looked. I don't know what to do with Kelvin, man. Because I mean, he got dominated. Everyone was saying this is the perfect fight for Kelvin Gastelum to go back to 170. If he can get in shape, he'll be a world beater at 170 again. He was a contender originally. He fought Tyron Woodley for the title contender, for a title shot. Took him to a split decision, I think. And everyone's like, Sean Brady's super overrated. He's not very good. He lost a striking match to Bilal Muhammad, this and that. This is the perfect fight. And then Sean Brady goes out there and just absolutely dominates him.
Manhandled him.
I don't
Takedown
know what
after
Kelvin does at
takedown.
this point.
Single leg takedowns, trips. There's a
Cool
beautiful trip
trips,
where he
man.
takes Calvin's back, right? And he has a grip around his waist and he just
Yeah.
moves him a little bit to the left. And right before Gastelum plants, boom, he just kicks his left leg out from underneath him, trips him straight down again. Everything looks so effortless
Yeah, he
for
just
Sean Brady
steamrolled
last
him.
night.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was surprising.
Outpositioned him. And Kelvin looked like he couldn't find his feet. Like he was throwing punches. He was throwing that 1-2 that he always throws, which I thought was going into this. I was like, Sean Brady struggled with straight punches from Bilal Muhammad, and Kelvin's bread and butter is straight punches. He throws that long 2 behind his jab. He covers it with his feet, but in this fight, he was like slipping and stumbling and overreaching, and I was like, what's
Off
going
balance.
on with Kelvin, man? I thought he was going to look so much better at 170. Regen says Kelvin did get dominant. I have no clue where he goes from here. His best years were spent at the wrong weight class. 100%.
Man, do you remember his fight against Izzy? One of the best of all time.
Incredible.
One of the best fights of all time.
Yeah. He lost part of himself in that fight. If we're being honest.
He did. And you see fights like that from Kelvin, and you see what he can be, right? And then you have fights like last night where you just left thinking, like, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened? And one of the things with Kelvin coming up through tough even was his wrestling pedigree.
Yeah.
Right. A strong wrestler, state champion, I believe, in high school state wrestling. Granted, it was high school, but either way, hey, to be a state champion, you got to know how to wrestle a little bit,
Yeah.
Got out grappled. He didn't do very well in the striking. I just don't know what to say with Kelvin.
And credit where credit's due. Sean Brady looked fucking incredible in this fight. He looked so good. His transitions, his takedown, like you said, his positional awareness. Threatening with the arm, with the choke, switching to the arm. Like, I mean, it was a sick performance from Sean Brady. And we knew he had good jiu-jitsu, but I mean, man. Regent says the fight against Izzy was great. The KO of Bisping was also a highlight of his middleweight run, which was that 1-2. Those straight punches were so fast.
Oh,
so
and
fast.
Dude, by the way, the Kimura, as soon as he steps over the head like that for leverage,
it's a wrap.
Game over.
It's a wrap.
Game over.
Oh, one thing I do want to say from Kelvin, Sean Brady was on his back, had the body triangle. He breaks the lock of the body triangle, steps over the right hook. Once he does that, he's now positioned a little bit better off to the side. He's not 1-to-1 with him. Reaches back with the other side, grabs the head, peels him off, turns into him, grabs the ankle, pulls it out from under him. It was a slick reversal from Kelvin Gastelum. That was fucking
sick.
awesome. That was the
That was
coolest part
awesome.
of the fight, honestly. That was
Then he
a
was taken down
very
again.
good escape. Then he was taken down again. Man, that was cool. It was really cool, man. I almost forgot about it, but
it was. Regen says the fight against Izzy was great. The KO of Bisping was also a highlight of his middleweight run. Absolutely, absolutely. HOB Comer brings up the fact that he was so focused probably on that weight cut, they forgot he had to win the fight too, and I'm sure that was a huge victory for him just being able to make 170 again.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, your boy over here tries to lose 5 pounds, and I struggle. You know what I mean? So I can only imagine. All right, we can move on to the next one here. We're still going in order here, huh? Yeah, we're covering all these fights. All right, we had Joaquim Silva versus Clay the Carpenter Guida. Not the same without his hair.
Not the same without his hair. Lost a little bit of power there, but he hasn't lost his chin, dude. He ate a high kick. Yeah, he ate a high kick flush this fight that I was like, oh. And then he, for a second, I was like, well, that's it. And then it wasn't. He just ate it.
That's actually on my notes. I put down, how is Guida still so durable?
Yeah. And you're looking at the shots that Silva's that uppercut was so good from Silva. Silva made a great adjustment late in the fight by throwing like the front kick to the body, front kick up top, uppercuts, like those up the middle attacks. Because if someone's just constantly level changing, that's what you want to meet them with.
Yeah,
and it was a very good adjustment because I had it 1-1 going into the third. I thought the first round was
second
Silva.
round. Guida with the relentless takedowns.
Dude,
relentless.
He picked him up
and
slammed. I was like, let's go.
And look, dude, I'm a big Team Alpha Male fan, right?
Yeah.
In my notes, I put down Team Alpha Male is turning into Team Damaged Male. Think about all their big fighters right now and how much damage they take in every single fight, man.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a different era for Team Alpha Male.
Yeah, but that work ethic, man, is second to none over there.
Oh,
like these guys
they grind.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
Absolutely. And then there's a part where Silva tries to get Guida in a guillotine, and I'm like,
oh yeah.
He's gonna get out of that, no problem. You know how many times that? Yeah, you can't guillotine an alpha male guy. Get out of here. Sure enough, Guida just kind of like picks him up a little bit and just shoves him down and just pops out. And I was like, easy peasy, dude. He does that in his sleep probably.
Man, but that second round from Clay Guida was so fucking cool, man. Because he lost the first round, and it's hard to to change the tides in a fight, and it's even harder when you're 100 years old. And he did do that. Second round was fucking awesome, but then like I said, Silva made a great adjustment. That third round started going up the middle a lot more, and got the win. But it was a fun fight, and it was cool to see a legend like this like go to war a little bit, and not be fragile. Who knows, man? Who knows?
Dude, he was still landing some bombs on the third round. He was still trading.
Yeah, he does such a good job of like hopping into range and throwing those over the top hooks a little bit, And
there was that over the top.
His head is buried in your chest.
Right, that landed right on Silva's nose, and when he did, because Silva was pressuring and just swinging, trying to put him out because he saw that he was hurt, and Guida lands that big right, and after that big right landed, he took a step back. Silva did. He was like, "All right, let me not do that again." Yeah. Like I can't just go at that like this guy. All right.
Nah, it was cool though, man. And to see after the fight, they give him the decision. And Clay Guida's super cool. It was a good night, dude. Outside of the late,
he didn't pretend to retire this time to get some mic time. That was good.
Oh yeah,
remember when he did
awesome.
that? Dana was so pissed.
Yeah, what a legend, dude. I forgot he did that. It's fucking awesome, dude.
It was like to wish his mom a happy birthday or something like that. I don't even remember, but he's like takes his gloves off and they're like, Guida, I think you have something to say. And goes, yeah, man, happy birthday to He just walks off. Classic, dude. So classic.
Oh, look at this takedown right here, dude. Come on.
Oh, that was so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It was a fun fight, dude. I really liked it. All
right, we'll move on here. We also had Dustin Stoltzfus versus Punahele Soriano, who throws bombs.
Overhand left. And that's it.
That's what I did when I first downloaded the UFC game. Was I figured out one punch that worked, and I just kept on hitting that button over and over again, dude. Until somebody stopped it. Somebody figured it out, and Stoltzfus figured it out, man.
Man, his kicks, dude. I wasn't expecting him to kick so well. He was throwing so many kicks that Punahele just kept getting stopped in his tracks because of the kick. Not necessarily going to like finish him with the body kick or anything like that, but he just get stopped in his tracks over and over. There was a very cool open side counter from Soriano, that overhand left. Southpaw versus orthodox. You have that open
Orthodox.
side. A lot harder to land that overhand or the rear hand in an open stance like that. It was a very cool counter because Stoltzfus kind of came in with the 1-2. Punahele stepped outside of it and then threw the overhand left. Very cool open side counter. But that was about it. Other than that, Stoltzfus was landing on him, dude. Straight punches. Straight punches beat overhands,
Yep, absolutely. And Stoltzfus ends up taking Soriano's back, right?
Well, he dropped him at
And
the end of the first, right? Like right at the
that's
horn,
right, that's
dropped him.
right.
That was sick. And you could
Yeah,
see
and that was
Punahele
after
like, God damn
Soriano
it.
was landing that left bomb a few times too that first round, and then you
Yeah.
you end the round like that. Imagine what that does for his psyche too. Like he's like, all right,
Yeah.
man, I'm landing on this guy,
I'm
landing
in
on this
this.
guy. Got dropped, end around. You're like, oh no, wait,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be as easy as I thought.
HW Comer says Soriano's defense was eating that left until the other guy gets too tired to land it. Yeah, and Stoltzfus, you talked about Clay Guida with the back take. Sean Brady with the back take, but man, the way he slipped under that punch, grabbed him, took his back, picked him up, and dropped him. Fucking sick, dude. So
Yep.
fast, dude. It wasn't a big, like, strenuous lift and then slam. It was just like up and down real quick. Just a straight up mat. I mean, not a mat return because he didn't come
Old
off the
school
ground.
rock bottom for anybody that used to watch WWE back in the day. The rock bottom.
Oh, okay.
He's like, wait, what does that mean?
I don't know.
No, but a good performance there.
Very good
by Stoltzfus. And HLB Comer saying, that his defense is getting hit until the other guy gets tired. He's Hawaiian, right? Punahele Soriano.
Yeah, I think so, right?
They have the hardest heads in the world, man. Like, think about all these Hawaiians that we watch fight. They just are so durable.
Yeah, I mean, BJ Penn in his prime, especially, dude. Punahele,
Holloway,
Polo, Holloway. Yeah, crazy chins, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. Coconuts
I think
they're eating. I don't know.
Maki Pitola's Hawaiian, right?
Sounds like it. Maybe. I'm pretty sure he is.
Coconut bombs.
Coconut bombs. Yeah.
Yeah, Hawaiian.
All right. Want to move on from this one?
Good win from Stoltzfus. He looked really good this fight.
Now we get to see the resurgence and talk about the resurgence of Miesha Tate. Miesha Tate going up against Julia Avila. I know, right? So right off the bat, Miesha Tate comes out and she does this like triple jab from a distance. From a distance.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if she landed any of those, but she closed the distance by shoving her up against the fence, and then she goes for the clinch.
Well, and this is something that women's MMA gets a little bit of hate on stuff like that because it's not like technically that good, but it can be effective. And this is something that like Mackenzie Dern needs to learn: is use the punches not necessarily to hurt them, use them just to close the distance and get in on the takedown. Because while they're focusing, even if you're just throwing them out there, they have to either counter or defend, and both of those options leave them susceptible for takedowns. And that's something that Miesha Tate understands better than a lot of fighters, a lot of women's fighters. But it doesn't have to be to land those punches. The downside of that is you get someone with good footwork, decent footwork, and they can just evade those shots and pick you apart, like Barb did, right? Her last fight, she got outclassed and just beat up on the feet because she couldn't close the distance and get the takedown. In fights where she can, her grappling is very good though, and this is one of those where she just showed up.
And it's very much to like we talked about Figueiredo and just showing that level change, just to give the opponent something else to think about. For your grapplers, that's kind of like you showing the level change because everybody knows you want to grapple. Everybody knows you want to take this thing down. But the very first thing you come out with is this triple jab. And you're like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. And then before you know it, you're clinched up against the fence, right?
And they're going to get you down.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the flip side. It's the complete opposite. You're right. Yeah.
So
same but different.
But
same.
Yeah, exactly. I loved though in the first round, Miesha's trying to just gain better position. I think it comes down to 1 minute left in the round, and she's like, let me start landing some ground and pound.
Yeah.
And she starts landing some ground and pound, and I was very pleased to see it continued in the second round. It continued in the third round, where it wasn't just Miesha grappling, but Miesha was delivering some damage as well.
And that's. You're right, because that's one thing that I thought too. When she got her on the backpack, right? She got the, I don't know if it was a body triangle, but she had her back and she pushes her away and starts landing hammer fists from the back. And I was like, thank you. There's so many fighters that get the back and they're just so focused on getting a choke that no damage happens. And then you spend the whole round for the control and you never landed any damage, and you never got the choke. And, she did a good job of landing some good shots from the back. Like you said, it continued through the fight. She did a very good job, too, of anytime because one of the big fears with ground and pound is that during your ground and pound, they're going to be able to create a scramble from it and, either sweep you or change positions, get back up. She did such a good job of every time there was like a split second of a scramble, she stops the ground and pound, out positions her, transitions to something else, moves her over, gets her pace back. Like she just did such a good job in those positions. And then the rear naked choke was disgusting. So gnarly, dude. Because, sometimes it's under the neck. Yeah. Sometimes it's under the neck. Sometimes it's over the chin and it hurts. Sometimes, I've never seen it in UFC at least, sometimes it's over the teeth. And her forearm was over her teeth and she's squeezing. And she gets a panic tap. Look at this picture. Look at the mouth guard.
Like, oh my God.
Look at the mouth guard.
Oh my God.
Dude,
that is terrifying.
Imagine that kind of pressure on your teeth to where it pulled your mouth guard into your mouth off of your teeth. That must have hurt so bad. It must have been terrifying.
She probably thought I'm losing all my front teeth right now. That's probably what she thought.
Yeah.
I'm about to lose all my front teeth.
Yeah, terrifying. Ganscow says Tate versus Rousey 3 incoming for UFC 300. I think I texted you. I was like, dude, if Tate wins this, she's got to call out Rousey for UFC 300.
Yeah.
But she didn't.
Well, I think in our group text that we have, somebody sent a link out from, I don't know what outlet it was, that they were trying to offer, what's her name, Rousey, like 15 million or something like that to take the fight against Tate.
Oh, damn. Well,
yeah. I mean, that's a nice chunk of change.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those fights that, like, it'll be probably not very good, but just for the legacy, it'll be kind of fun. And just the names, they're going to get so many views just off the names, So,
yeah, for sure. All right. That was enough on that fight, huh? We'll move on. We had Cody Brundage versus Zach Reese.
Okay. Here's where we get into the real fun fights of the night. Because, this was, Cody Brundage, he comes out. I think this is Zach Reese's UFC debut, right? He was 6-0. I think he came off the Contender Series. Yeah. He's never left the first round still, by the way, but he's always he's got a knockout in the first round, knockout in the first round, knockout in the first round, submission in the first round, knockout, armbar, all in the first round coming into this. And Brundage comes in and starts swanging and banging immediately, landing big hooks in the clinch, and then he throws a kick. And we'll go a little slow here on the pictures, Rich. He throws a high kick. No, you're good on the last one. That was a perfect spot for that one. But just like from here, throws a high kick, and Reese throws a front kick to the body. So he slips out, falls down, but he recovers mid-slip onto that ankle. And Reese, instead of going for position, went for hammer fists and elbows, and it allowed Brundage to stay on that ankle, get the takedown. And Zach Reese was like, that's fine. I have submissions. He throws up the triangle. And now we can start moving through the pictures, Rich, because Brundage is in the triangle. He lifts him up, Rampage style, Arona. Lifts him up, slams him down onto his head. This picture's pretty cool because look at the hair of Reese. How much momentum was in that slam.
I think this is where he realized he fucked up, right? Right here where he, like, his left hand goes up like, oh, no.
Yeah, the record scratch. You might be one. That's me. You might be wondering how I got here. He gets slammed on his head. Knocks him out. Couple follow-up shots from Brundage. And it was incredible. Mostly, do you have anything to say about this one? Or do you want to breeze through it like
that was the fight. You just described the fight right
that was
now.
the fight.
That was
so the reason this is even more incredible, because slam knockouts out, you slam someone out of a submission and you knock them out. That's incredible. That happens once every few years, right? And it's amazing. But what was so crazy about this is that it also happened in the fight right before this. Look at DC and Brendan Fitzgerald in this picture.
Yeah, because that's awesome.
If you listen to the commentary of this, when they slam them, all three of them are just screaming over each other because they're like, "What's happening? This is insane!" Because it happens once every few years. It happened in back-to-back fights. It was incredible. So on that note, very good for Brundage. First loss for Reese. We can move on to the next fight.
Sweet.
which is
Drakkar
HB
Klose
versus
versus Joe Solecki.
HB versus as he was being picked up, he tried to grab Cody's leg with his left hand but didn't catch it. Yeah, because
Oh,
that'll
rough.
protect you from the slam, right? You hook
Yeah,
a
yeah.
leg, and that's
Ganscow says the exact same thing. He tried to underhook the leg on the way up, missed it, then paid with the consciousness.
yeah,
Paid dearly.
Paid the toll.
Yes, absolutely.
Just like Joe Solecki in this next fight, like you said, Drakkar Klose versus Joe Solecki. Joe Solecki, very good jiu-jitsu. This fight, this is a pick-em for me. I thought Drakkar Klose could knock him out easily on the feet, or Solecki could sub him very easily. And within like 30 seconds, Solecki had him down with the takedown. It was like,
quick
ooh.
takedown.
And one thing that was cool about this, Solecki takes him down into half guard on the left side, and his body is in between Klose and the fence. And it's very different because you'll see HB versus slam dunk contest winner. But, it's very cool to see shifts in fights where, like Demetrius Johnson versus Rod Tang, where it was a Muay Thai first round, MMA second round. First round, Rod Tang has Demetrius on the back foot, right? And he's Demetrius is evading everything, circling. Round 2 starts. Now takedowns are on the mix, and it's completely flipped. Rod Tang's on his back foot, circling, trying to use his footwork to evade the takedowns from Mighty Mouse. And in this, it was cool because you see the jiu-jitsu guy, Joe Solecki, who when he has Drakkar down, he's in half guard on the left side. He's in between the fence and Drakkar because he wants to work. He's not trying to stuff you against the fence. He doesn't want you to wall walk. He wants to work down there. He's trying to sub you. Drakkar ends up turning to get to flip him so that Joe Solecki's on the other side of him in the fence so that he can then get to the fence and wall walk up. And Solecki passes across the legs to half guard on the other side. And I was like, fuck, that's sick because he wants to keep him there. He wants to keep working.
Mm-hmm.
He tries to step over from half guard for the back take. And as he does that, Drakkar reversed him. He anticipated it, right? It was very cool grappling. And then immediately, Drakkar, instead of trying to turn him away from the fence, immediately stuffs him in the fence. Let's go back, Rich, in the pictures. But he immediately stuffs him against the fence because, one, he's trying to do damage. And if you're crumpled up against the fence, he can land punches. Two, you don't want this guy to armbar you. And if he's stepped against the fence, he can't. Joe Solecki did a very good job of turning a little bit to where they were. So his back wasn't against the fence. Instead, he was along the fence, which allowed him to go for the armbar. He set up the armbar within 30 seconds. I rewatched it this morning. He's set up within 30 seconds of being on his back. Fucking very slick jiu-jitsu. And Drakkar picks him up, and he slams him on his head, and he knocks him out.
The way he did it, though.
Crazy.
Sideways.
Sideways. How do you have that much strength?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Where, Reese bounces off the back of his head, kind of. We saw Rampage. Who was that he slammed?
Arona.
On the
Matt
back
Hughes,
of his head.
Carlos Newton.
Look where Solecki landed.
Right
on the side of his head.
Yeah. Brutal.
Yeah, absolutely. This one was a little bit worse than
way worse
than the one with Reese.
It was way worse because he was out immediately. Reese was still kind of there a little bit. Solecki was out.
Did he land one shot after that, I think?
He threw one, it landed on his chest because the ref was already getting involved. Who ref was? Mark Smith?
It had to be Mark Smith because I remember thinking Mark Smith did a fantastic job all night.
Yeah.
He did a really good job. HB Comer says, will we see this move now more often? What do you think?
I think, it's still very rare. It takes a very strong person to do this, Andrade did it to Rose, right? Rose had the standing Kimura. She picked her up, slammed her. Carlos Newton against Matt Hughes, where he slammed him. Like you said, Rampage and Arona. Like, these are strong people. All those people are very strong. Not everybody can do this. And most of the time, you do hook the leg in the triangle. Most of the time, you ditch the armbar, and you recover your base and maybe even get up out of it. I still think this is going to be really rare, but we might see people try this a lot more often now,
Yeah, for sure.
Because it used to be you don't do this. It used to be don't do that because you slam them and you're going to push into the armbar more,
Yeah. But also for the jiu-jitsu practitioners, they're probably thinking twice about it now too, especially after seeing it twice in one night where they're like, hey, as soon as I feel like they're, picking me up a little bit, I got to let go.
Yeah. But man,
All
what
right.
a what a combo.
Blunderbug. Shout out Blunderbug, who's
Hey.
joining us now. Lawrence Phillips on Friday Fights a while back with the belly-to-belly KO also.
Oh, yeah. There's been some
Forgot
cool
about that
slam
one.
knockouts recently, huh?
Oh,
Who
look
was
at that picture.
Yeah, I mean,
So out of it.
yeah, out cold. No need for the follow-up shot. Drakkar was like, no, I need it.
Kerry Hatley's like, he's giving me a thumbs up. He's still good.
yeah.
Hatley would have let it keep on going for sure.
Yeah.
All
HB
right.
Comer calls out the Monkey King slam. Yeah. Shout out the Monkey King. That was a cool one against Matt Wyman, right? He just picks him
Was
up.
it against
Bam.
Wyman?
I think it was Wyman, yeah. The other one, which was cool recently, I think it was a hip toss where they landed head to head almost, or like head to chin, and he knocked him out. I forgot which one that was, but it was a doozy. It was on the prelims. There's been some slam KOs recently, huh?
There has. Okay. We are at an hour right now. We got a couple fights left to cover.
Yeah,
We'll
2
go
more.
ahead and cover Rodolfo Bellato versus Ihor Potieria. Potieria.
Potieria.
One of
Bellato
those.
is fucking awesome, dude, because I've had it in for Potieria after he knocked out my boy Shogun, and then he did the fucking Fortnite dance over his unconscious body for his retirement fight. I was like, fuck this dude. I'm never gonna root for this guy. Shout out Josh. I was like, fuck this guy. And then he's out here and he's fighting Bellato, and I was like, I hope Bellato knocks this dude out. I hate him for what he did to my boy Shogun. And Bellato's probably like, dude, I gotta do this for Shogun, right? He's Brazilian, right? And the first round, Potieria is looking like a goddamn world beater. He cannot
landing
miss.
everything he's throwing.
Yeah, mixing it up really well. A lot of tools in the arsenal, right? And Bellato's there for all of it. He's eating all of it.
Dude, it's so crazy because he has like this very stiff stance. Like very stiff.
Kane.
Like the old school wrestler, WWE?
No, like Cain Velasquez. Like,
no, I know
what you're
talking
Velasquez,
about.
You know?
But he's coming in stiff, and then he comes in and throws like a couple shots like really stiff, right? Like a Rock'em Sock'em Robot. And then he gets hit hard by this right hand. Dude, and after he gets hit hard, his head whips back and he goes, huh. And head moves after that. I'm like, no, do it before, bro. Do
that when he's punching you, not after.
Yeah. It was so funny. But he did that a few times. You get tagged and he bob his head. Classic.
Yeah, you see that a lot with like older fighters who have been there too long, you know? HB Comer says Bellato has the movement of a fridge. Dude, it really did remind me of Kane. Kane used to do that too. He was just so much more effective at it, but he used to move kind of like that too. And a lot of it too is kind of similar body styles. And Bellato also just that heavy pressure against the fence reminded me of a worse Cain Velasquez. But a minute left in that first round, and Bellato changed his tune a little bit, and he started landing. He landed that knee, landed some short hooks and an elbow on Potieria, and I was like, okay, he came back a little bit. He wasn't a one-way traffic round. He came back a little bit. Still lost that round easily. And then the second round, which is up there for round of the year contender in my opinion, because not 10 seconds in, Bellato's like, the pressure against the fence kind of worked. I landed the knee, the elbows. I could do that. So I'm going to try to pressure him again. And immediately, Potieria hits him with the left, and then a right, and then a left. I think there's 2 punches that landed that dropped him. I think there's good pictures of them. Yeah, this one here.
Look at that.
And then the next one.
Oh, man.
Just brutal, dude. He gets him down and is landing hammer fists like, oh my God, brutal ground and pound from Potieria. And every time he hit him, Bellato's bouncing back. He's looking up into the stars. He's barely defending. He's just flailing with every punch. Who ref this one? Was it Hatley?
That's what I'm looking up right now as we speak. Jacob Montalvo.
Okay, very good job from him, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because Bellato was at least active with his legs. He was eating massive shots, but he was active. He tried to hit a scissor sweep at one point, and I was like, hey, man, that's not going to work, dude. But he ends up, he eats massive shots. Potieria gasses himself out trying to finish him. And I think a lot of refs probably would have stopped this because he was landing big shots. He gets a foot on the hip escapes. Used it to just create a little bit of distance with that distance, he turns over to a single leg, uses the single leg to get back up, and then immediately goes to work on him up against the fence. And he's landing big shots. He lands a knee. He lands the uppercut. He's landing hooks. And then Potieria is circling away. He's exhausted, circling away. Bellato gets the single leg and then just kind of goes for the trip. Doesn't even hook anything, but just the momentum of him hoping that he was going to get it. Because if you trip somebody, it's not just a hook of the leg. It's also you pushing with your upper body. And just the momentum of that push puts Potieria down. And then he goes into half guard, I think. He starts elbowing his leg to try to get him to drop his leg so he could step over the half guard. He does. And then as soon as he mounts him, he postures up and it's just machine gun straights. It was crazy, dude. It was so fast.
Not sure if they were the hardest punches in the world, but it was just nonstop. It was so funny. It was just like,
Yeah, just Brendan Fitzgerald yelled something about a typewriter, and I was like, fucking sick, dude. Because he was just if you're exhausted and you can't, you're just like, and then they have to stop it. It was great. What a come from behind win from Bellato. Very cool.
Fun fight, man. Talk about come from behind wins.
Yeah.
There's another one right before this. We had Turman versus Gooden. Man, from both these guys, we talk about watching the main event and the co-main event and the level that they bring, right? Mm-hmm. Super impressive. And with these guys, don't get me wrong, they're really good also. But the biggest thing that I saw from watching something like this to the folks in the co-main and main event is the usage of feints.
Yeah.
They barely use any feints. Gooden, a lot of power, but no feints. So whenever Gooden would go, he'd move. Turman would slip out of the way early in the fight because he was like, okay, if he's going, it's coming, right?
Yeah.
There's no guesswork there. Exactly. The commitment's there right off the bat. And I was just like, man, just mixing a couple of feints, Gooden, and you're dangerous, bro. You're super dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. And Turman, on the flip side, looked a lot better striking-wise than he has in the past. He would throw the 2 first and then the left hook off the 2-3 combos over and over again. Very good. And he hurt Gooden a few times. The first round was a masterclass from Turman, right? Just he lit him up a couple times, stunned him a little bit, and then he gets that big slam takedown to end the round. And it was like, oh, that's a good round from Turman. Second round, he's cracking him again. And where he got caught, he thought he was Bangkok ready. Because when he was sniping, he was doing okay. When he was just pot shotting, it was like this is working. But then he had him hurt. And he's like, let's turn it up. Let's start throwing longer combinations. And he hurts Gooden again. And then they go back in, and he was just staying in the pocket too long. They both land left hooks like stepbrothers. It was literally like it's stepbrothers when they have the golf club,
baseball bat, and the golf club.
Yeah, in the yard. They both left hook. I think this might be it right here. And Turman, he's used to dogfights. Gooden is used to dogfights. And they both land their left hook, and they separate, and Turman all of a sudden is not there. And Gooden's like, oh, okay, I got this guy. I'm going to run through this dude now. And he did. Because from that point on, what a finish. I mean, some guys are finishers. Gooden is a finisher,
Absolutely, dude. In my notes, I put down Turman more calculated, picking his shots early on. Turman doing a better job of stringing together some combos. And my last note, his combos hurt him. So
yeah, he just stayed in the fire too long, dude. He got too.
Yeah, he did.
He felt himself a little too much. And then
maybe he ate one of Gooden's shots and thought like, hey, I could probably take his hardest shot.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm willing to go in there and receive one, a dish out 2 or 3. But it didn't work out that way. Gooden eventually he hurts him with that left hook, follows up well, stays on him, lands some nasty elbows on the ground that were brutal, and then ends up taking his back and choking him out. But this was a fun fight, dude. Good comebacks, Comeback fights are fun. Yeah. There's a few of them. All right, that was it for all the fights we're going to cover. We're going to I think the only one we really skipped was Hardy versus Lynn Horth, right?
Yeah, HW Comer says Turman could have won a boring decision but got too excited. Yeah, he was feeling himself.
True.
Josh says Wellington Turman has 2 last names.
Yeah, I never really thought about that.
Yeah.
They say never trust a man with 2 first names. What about 2 last names?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Classic. We're skipping Hardy versus Horth. We're an hour 10 in. It was a good win for Hardy. she looked good the first 2 rounds, and then Horth remembered that she's way bigger than her in the 3rd round, came back and took that round. But it was cool to see Hardy get some work in. I like Veronica. She's cool, dude. I don't know if you watch her podcast with Dan Hardy, but they were very good. It's a very cool podcast. I like both of them a lot. Obviously, Dan Hardy's a legend, but Veronica's very cool. So it was cool to see her get a win.
Nice. All right. Moment of silence.
Yeah, moment of silence. We were supposed to have Khalil Roundtree against Azamat Mirzakhanov.
Always excited to see which Khalil Roundtree we get. Bangkok ready or?
Yeah. I think they moved him, right? I think he's fighting next week, maybe? He's fighting soon. They moved him to fight Anthony Smith. So
I'll check right now while you're reading out the rest.
Yeah, Jared Cannonier was supposed to fight your boy, Roman Dolidze. Would have been a very fun fight. Cannonier tore his MCL.
Roman Dolidze, I'm a fan.
Yeah, and then the other big one was Dan Hooker versus Bobby Green. Hooker, like we said, he had that broken arm from Turner. Hurt it again in training. He has to pull out. Turner comes in, knocks out Bobby Green, takes years off his life. Ganskow says, how good is Mike Perry? Mike Perry is built for bare knuckle boxing. Ramiro didn't see the fight, but man, Eddie Alvarez versus Mike Perry, just Eddie Alvarez is a legend, dude. So cool. Should I cover this now or cover it after we do the next week? We'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Eddie Alvarez goes out and it's just like jab, 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 stiffing it with the jab. It was fucking the first round from Eddie Alvarez. It was all Eddie Alvarez, and Perry's got like 3 cuts already after that first round. He looked so good. And then the second round, again, he's jabbing him up. But Mike Perry's starting to land shots now. Mike Perry's just eating shots to land his shots. It was a fucking banger. And then after the second round, I think Eddie's got a broken orbital for sure. It's swelling up. He tells his coaches, like, dude, I can't see out of this thing. Like, we got to call this. And the corner was like, fuck it, let's call it. So they call it. Mike Perry wins. Mike Perry, he gets Eddie Alvarez to quit, Luke Rockhold to quit. He beat Michael Venom Page before that.
He's a monster, dude.
He's a bare knuckle great. He's gonna go down as the bare knuckle great.
Bare knuckle goat.
I think so. Can you think of anybody else who's built for that? Better
the way
than
that Mike Perry is.
I mean, he's out there.
I mean, he might go down as the best bare knuckle boxer ever.
I mean, dude, you got MMA goats, you got boxing goats, you got bare knuckle goats. Mike Perry. HB Comer says, regardless of who wins in BKFC, they both look like losers after the fight. Yeah, dude. In the post-fight interview, Mike Perry's got his kid. His kid's like crying because his face.
Daddy looks like a monster.
Dude. Yeah, dude. It was.
Oh my
crazy.
God.
It was just peak bare knuckle Mike Perry mix. It was just, but Eddie Alvarez, man, what a fucking legend. He was clear that he's the better fighter, but it doesn't matter in bare knuckle. It just doesn't matter. And obviously he had a long MMA career. He retired. He comes back. It's different than Mike Perry, who got cut from the UFC after having bangers, who goes in there, who's still not like over the hill. But it was cool as fuck seeing Eddie Alvarez's wife, dude, because, she's a meme, right? Because you always hear her screaming every time he fights. Eddie! Every like 30 seconds. But dude, she's fucking ride or die, dude. After the fight, they call it. And his coaches, he was like apologizing to his coaches for letting him down and stuff. And they're like, no, dude, you did so fucking good. It was cool to see. And then his wife comes over and the way she's looking at him, even though his eyes swollen and he's bleeding, she's just looking at him like, this is my fucking guy, dude. And like she kisses him and she's got blood on her face and he's like wiping it off. And then she kisses him again. There's more blood. And it was just so fucking cool. They're just fucking ride or die, dude.
True story. Awesome. She was upset when Eddie Alvarez broke away from her to come take a picture with me at the airport. Remember?
When we were at TSA.
Yeah. So my bad. I
actually have you know what? Let's fucking see it, because people joke about her a lot, right? Because of the way she screams and stuff. But it's like, dude, she just can't help it, bro. She's just so ride or die. He's fucking fight. He's going life, because you look at the way he fights. He's going life and death with people in there, and she's just so ride or die that she's just fucking screaming. She can't contain it, dude. She's just fucking that ride or die. Rich, I've just put something in the private chat. It's a link to a Twitter video in the post-fight press conference. Someone asked about it, I think, and if we could play that actually, because it's fucking, dude, find somebody that loves you as much as Eddie's wife loves him. You know what I mean?
Man,
it's just so fucking cool.
HOB Comer talking about like, hey, probably not the best idea bringing the kids over to those events. Especially bare knuckle.
Yeah, especially if you're Mike Perry. Yeah.
Oh my God, look at this.
Yeah. Can we get audio from this, Rich?
Yeah, do you attribute
great.
a lot of your toughness to your
It's good
wife?
right there.
Because I sat next to her during the fight, and she scares the shit out of me. She started my belt and telling me if I had a problem, she was going to kick my ass.
Bro, I don't know how many promoters I had to apologize to about my wife. I met my wife when I was 15 years old. You guys are gonna make me emotional. I have 4 children, and my wife would pick me up from North Philly when I was no one, and people see her yelling in the crowd and say bad things to her, but the truth is, like, when I was nobody at 15 years old, she picked me up from a terrible place and believed in me. So when she yells, let her yell, guys. She cares, and I have 4 kids, so let her yell.
Oh, I love it, man.
Fuck,
Yeah, do
dude.
you
What a legend, bro. What a fucking legend.
HOB Comer saying Eddie's wife is an MMA legend. Let her scream. It would not be an Eddie fight without her, for sure.
100%, dude. 100%. Josh says it's crazy how Mike Perry is the only guy that the top names for the UFC want to face.
For real.
Fucking Mike
For
Perry,
real.
dude. But yeah,
I'm so
watching.
happy to see Mike Perry doing so well at something, though, because he's always been one
Me
of those
too.
characters. So much fun to watch. You knew that when he was going to be fighting in the UFC or any organization, it's going to be a banger. It's going to be fun.
Yeah,
right? You're
win or
not going to be
lose.
bored. You're not going to
Yeah.
be bored.
Mhm.
And now you get him into BKFC, possibly go down as the GOAT of bare knuckle boxing.
Yeah, dude.
Come on, man. Come
It's
on.
crazy,
Remember when he
dude.
went through that like little crazy time when he's like me versus a window
Oh,
one
yeah. He was,
or
like,
whatever, and like
clearly- he fell through a window. He punched that dude outside the restaurant or something. Like that's the other thing that I'm glad to see him get success, because like I like him. He seems like a fun dude, and I am worried about what his life is going to be like outside of fighting. So I'm glad to see him succeed, because I am worried about what the
when the
dark
show's
side
over.
of Mike Perry. Yeah.
When the show's over, yeah, absolutely. HOB Comer saying, I still don't know about BKFC. Perry looked in pain after the fight. Look, I'll tell you this, HOB
It's
Comer.
hard, dude.
After we did a fight companion once, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're watching, you feel kind of dirty when you're watching
it's tough, dude.
but it's entertaining.
Well, the difference is a lot of MMA guys, right? It's almost all MMA guys who do that, because they don't make enough money in MMA, and boxers would never go do that because they make plenty. But the difference is, if it was all boxers, right? I think Paulie went over there, right? But
and
boxing,
lost to there's another GOAT.
There's another GOAT, yeah,
right?
Artem Lobov, yeah,
Artem Lobov.
You know, if boxers went into bare knuckle, the pacing would be so different. It'd be pot shots, right? It'd be trading jabs and stuff like that. But these are MMA fighters who are just fucking. A lot of them are just tough guys, and they go over, especially the ones that go to bare knuckle, and they're fighting at a striking pace like it's MMA. And it's crazy because they take so much damage without the gloves that it's just like, and it's all visible damage, right? It's not like you're taking more brain damage or anything like that. It's just visible damage, which is hard to look at sometimes because they get so cut up and swollen and bleeding and stuff like that. But because of the MMA pace that they fight at, it's just fucking wars.
Wild.
Eddie Alvarez versus Chad Mendes was crazy.
That was fun too.
That speaking of boxers, that win versus was it Johnny Bedford was a fucking
Bedford,
dude. That was an amazing fight, but it's just crazy pace.
Paige Van Zandt versus
Rachel Ostovich, yeah. It's something else, man. It is tougher to watch though. You know, shout out Chris Camozzi. He's had some
what's
good
your
wins
girl's
over there.
name
Chris
that fights
Lehman,
there too?
Beck Rollins.
No,
Rowdy Beck.
No, not Hardy.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. She's a feeling.
Amelia.
Dude.
Yes,
feeling,
she's a feeling. Yeah, I can't remember her name. We'll have to look her up later for another episode. But she's a savage too. Shout out to her.
Yeah, Blunderbub says there's plenty of damage at the last Game Bread. Yeah, Game Bread, that's the bare knuckle MMA, right? That's fucking crazy too, man. It's gnarly. Ganskow says, still just waiting for the talent and strategy to develop. Sport is relatively young still. Production and promotion is pretty good. Yeah, it's trashy as fuck, but I think it's by design because it gets so many views, and I think it will evolve over time, right? It'll refine a little bit. People will figure out. But for now, dude, it's just fucking Mike Perry dogfighting people.
I love it. I got to go back and watch a fight.
Yeah. They did murder that one guy, though, so that's kind of fucked up.
What?
They got that one guy killed, yeah.
Oh, that's not
But
good.
next week, what do we got next week?
How about bonuses?
Oh yeah, we didn't even do bonuses. My bad.
We didn't do
I got too
bonuses.
hyped about
And
Eddie
how
Alvarez,
dare
dude.
you not talk about bonuses the night that Dana White goes off and starts handing
Yeah.
out bonuses left and right, bro.
They're getting all those lawsuit documents are coming out, and they're like, "Hey
Yeah,
guys,
look, we pay our fighters.
yeah, we gave out 500. I'll have you know, we gave out $500,000 in bonuses the last event. Yeah, but they
Oh,
gave a bonus to
classic.
everybody with the finish. Arman got a bonus for steamrolling
As it should
Dariush.
be.
Yeah, 100%. Jalin Turner got a bonus for starching Bobby Green. Sean Brady got one for Camoring Kelvin Gastelum. Stoltzfus got one for choking out Soriano. Miesha Tate got one for her teeth submission. She's trying to take out Avila's teeth. Brundage got one for his
The
slam
dentist.
KO. Drakkar Klose got one for his slam KO. Bellato got one. Potieria and Bellato got one for fight of the night. That's warranted. That's good.
Yeah, it's good.
And speaking of good, Gooden got one for his comeback win over Turman. One thing I don't like, it's great, they're all getting paid, but here's what is lame about it is in the post-fight press conference, Dana was like, yeah, when we have a night like this, you got to give them all bonuses. They all showed out. And it's like, why is my bonus dependent on the other fighters of this card? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, why is that should influence my bonus at all? If
Yeah.
I showed out, I should get one, not if everybody else showed out. I didn't like that, but they all got paid, so it works.
At least they all got paid. Ganscow says
Yeah.
BKFC has early UFC vibes for sure.
100%.
Except I didn't see anybody getting punched in the nuts repeatedly.
Yeah. Shout out Joe's son.
Yeah. All right. Next week, what do we got going on next week?
Yeah. Next week we got
Another
what is it,
UFC fight night at the Apex.
I think it was the Shanghai card that they moved to the Apex because they couldn't find a main event for it that warranted it. And then Dana's like, something happened in China that we had to change, but it's not worth talking about. It's nothing. It's like, wait, what? It's because you guys
Whoa.
couldn't put on a good China card. That's why you didn't do it. But yeah, we got Song Yadong versus Chris Gutierrez. That's a good fight, dude. Very
Yep.
good fight.
Lionheart.
Versus Khalil Roundtree on short notice.
Yeah.
Sumadarji versus Nascimento.
Like it.
That's a good fight. Andre Muniz versus Junion Park is going to be fucking great.
That's
That's
a
such
good
a good
one.
fight, dude. Hot
Ooh,
Cross
Kelvin
versus
Gastelum back to
Malarkey.
back weeks.
yeah. Lightweight
With
Gastelum
Nasrat
against
Hot
Jamie
Cross?
Malarkey. Very
Wow,
good fight.
that's a good fight.
Tatsudo Taira versus Carlos Hernandez. Fucking sign
that's
me
another
up,
good
dude.
one.
Tatsudo is fucking money, dude. He's the future. Let's see. Son Kanong brings it every time. Luana Santos versus Stephanie Egger.
Yeah.
There we go.
be
Steve
fun.
Garcia
All right.
versus Costa is going to be fun. Costa's sneaky good, dude. I like that guy. And then we
Well-
also have, that's on Saturday. And then on Friday, we have one fight night 17, 18.
Oh, dang.
I don't remember what it is, but
And AW Homer just logged off as soon as you
Yeah.
put on one fight night.
yeah, he's going to miss the best fights of the
Come
weekend.
out.
Roman versus Roberts is going to be sick. Heavyweight Muay Thai, fucking always interesting. Roman is fucking a world beater, dude. He's so good. We got Smoking Joe Nadawat versus Luke Lassay. Smoking Joe Nadawat just had that banger of a fight recently against who was it against?
Why does the guy on the left, Roman, look like a wax figure?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
What is going on?
Who did Smoking Joe just fight? Tawan Shai. He just fought Tawan Shai and went fucking back to back with it. Was crazy back and forth with them. Felipe Lobo, it's gonna be a fun fight versus Simon Patch. Dimitri
Edgar
Menchikov.
Tabadis?
Yeah, against your boy Johan Ghazali. If you haven't watched our videos on Johan Ghazali, 16 years old.
That should be a fun one.
16 years old, was getting knockouts. I think he's 17 now. This is his first. He got a contract to be on a fight night, so he's not on the Friday fights anymore. We got Dmitry Menchikov versus who's Menchikov. I think is so talented. He's someone to watch out for. Goncalves is back. He's very fun. And then you got Thong Poon, who is just fucking pure entertainment. This is a very good card. All Muay Thai on a fight night. Usually they
All
mix in
Muay
some
Thai.
MMA,
Small gloves,
some
big gloves?
grappling. All small gloves. Muay
Let's
Thai.
go. Small
Yeah.
gloves, Muay Thai, hard to beat.
These are gonna be bangers, dude.
Hard to beat.
These
All
are
right.
gonna be bangers.
Thank you, Blunderbub,
Lions.
Ganscow, HOB Comer, Josh, for joining us. Did I say Blunderbub already? I think I did. Regen as
Regen.
well, all joining us. Made it a lot of fun. Please like, subscribe if this is your first time listening. Let all your friends and family at Love MMA know that this is the podcast to follow and subscribe to. It's a lot of fun. If you don't like watching, but you like listening, where can they find us, Will?
Yeah, everywhere. Storyofthefight.com. We'll show you all of our links. Just click through and follow them. Story of the Fight on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, Twitch, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, everywhere. Story of the Fight. Makes it real easy.
Awesome. And in case everybody didn't know, this podcast right here, produced by Richard Bustos. There it is, right?